Hi, everybody.
Good afternoon. Welcome back for episode 8, live from Rabs.
Yogi Berra.
And today, Nazareth and I have Joe C., one half of the Joe and Joe crew. Brooklyn's own.
Brooklyn's own.
Joe Cal.
Staten Island's own since 1986, but originally Brooklyn's own.
Well, Joe, thanks for stopping in again with us.
My pleasure. Happy to be here.
We're doing a little better with the social distancing now that we have extra people in the studio today.
Arm's length, although I miss my friends being closer. I know we have to do it for health reasons.
Joe's a hugger, so I know he's having a hard time
This
with
is killing me. I can't hug people. It's killing me. I send the hug emojis, though, when I can. So my heart's in the right place.
This morning, Freddie was cleaning up outside, and he was saying, "Hey, I'd shake your hand." We can't do that right now. I said, "No, good. I'm not even. You know what? I have to say it's hard, but I haven't gone in for the hug. I haven't gone in. I haven't just hands in the pocket."
You see that little coronavirus picture floating, and that prevents me from getting close to people.
Yeah, it's that little thought above our head. Everybody could see, but we can't see it, but we know it.
It's just on their face.
Yeah.
This is my no-no zone. Just stay out. Stay away. Well, thanks for joining in. We've got a great show. We've got a great weekend. But today is all about bowling, and we have our good friend, PBA and PWBA champion Kelly Kulick on the line with us, and we're going to bring her in. And I hope you have some questions for Kelly. Send those in through the chat. We're doing our best to pay attention. Liz is back with us today, so thank you. We struggled a little yesterday without our production, without our producer. So
it was not easy, but we made it through, and she's back today, so we're happy.
Happy Liz is back. Hey, so, I was happy to have her. She opened the door before. So I would have been lost trying to open that door. So thank you, Liz.
So, hey, quick, as a follow-up from yesterday, we were talking about the Feed Our Heroes campaign that was started through Marco and Tina Gennaro's and our friend Kenny Soto, through just an idea of saying, hey, we want to participate. So I want to say thank you to those who clicked on the link and made a contribution, whether it be a cash check or an online donation. There's already $600 that have come in just to help feed those on the front line. So thank you for doing that. And please, the link will be in the comments if you want to contribute to what we're doing here. And we're sending food over to those in the front lines, the precincts, the hospitals, those that we're taking for granted that they're there doing their fantastic job. So thank you to those that contributed. You'd also saw, if you're paying attention here in the Facebook world and SI Live, our local paper picked up, our Staten Island Bowling Hall of Fame group also made a contribution of food that's sent over to Rumsey today.
Yes.
So thank you to the Bowling Hall of Fame team, and thank you for those who have already contributed or are going to. We know it's not an easy time, so if you are able to, we'd love. Thank you. Please do. You don't have to, but we'd love for you to if you can.
And even those of you who are doing it on your own, Staten Island is definitely a community of helpers, and this is a time when the people that are, I keep using the phrase, in the trenches, but that's when they really could use our help, and everything that's being done to help them, whether you're making masks, which I'm doing, or whether you're sending over food or whatever it is you're doing, that needs to be done.
Yeah,
it needs to be done.
Definitely.
Our fellow bowler and good friend Billy Salvatore has a demonstration video on his Facebook page on how to make an at-home mask with paper towels, a stapler, and some rubber bands, something to use. And I don't know if we should be using those in public, but they're definitely good for the house if you're opening the door for someone making a delivery.
And Billy will be joining us on Monday, and hopefully he'll do a little live demonstration on his mask making. And maybe add a little music. We're not
music. He's been entertaining us. So thanks, Billy, for that. Hey, we're gonna bring Kelly in, and Kelly's been patient here with us.
Very patient. Yeah.
Kelly, live from. Well, I have to unmute her first, right? That would be helpful.
Yeah. Hi,
Kelly.
Yep.
Hello.
How are we doing today?
We're doing just like every other day, staying inside, playing it safe, washing my hands. How about you?
Don't touch your face.
Yeah, hard to do,
we're
right?
Doing the same, Kelly. Definitely.
Yeah.
That's
yes.
Without a. We're doing the same thing here inside the bowling center. For the little bit that we spent here, as you can see, it's a little empty. So we're making the best of it here. So
definitely.
Yeah, same here. New Jersey, we're on lockdown too. We have been since the 16th and everything. So making the best of the situation, still getting out, doing some exercises, walking around, staying distant from everybody, but enjoying the weather when it is nice out. So staying active and finding little projects along the way to keep me busy.
So projects, what kind of projects in the house? I'm assuming you're cooking. So what are you cooking up in the kitchen?
Well, I'm trying to stay away from sweets because if it's only me, they're going to either be eaten or thrown away. So I'm avoiding anything baking or creamery objects. But I've got an air fryer recently, so I've been practicing with that with some chicken. The pork chops come out great in the air fryer. Made a lentil and kibasi soup, which was really good, trying to experiment with different types of vegetables. But tonight's Saturday, so I think I'm going to treat myself to some pizza and just kind of chill. The weekends are a little less restrictive, but trying to find some new recipes, watching a lot of America's Test Kitchen and Cook's Country, getting some ideas along the way as diners, drive-ins, and dives and food paradise. So I'm either going to gain 10 pounds or lose 10 pounds during this whole quarantine and shutdown.
We know it's not easy, especially that our pizzeria has been open and
it's right here. It's literally right here, so it's an arm's length away.
Trying not to eat too much while we're hanging out. But cooking, you should probably share some recipes with us that we could share with our folks. I've heard Kelly's an amazing cook. I have yet to experience that yet, and I know I will at some point. But I look forward to that. But I've heard she's a pretty good cook.
Nice. That's good.
Oh, thanks, Frankie. I just like to dabble a little bit and experiment from time to time. One day I'm going to have my dream job is to have a brewery paired with a restaurant with a line dancing floor in the middle. So dancing, eating, and drinking can't go wrong.
Nice.
Let us know. We'll be there.
We'll definitely visit.
Yeah, K2 Brew coming eventually within the next 5 to 10 years.
Very good. I like it. She's already got it. She already got the concept. She's ready to roll. So speaking of dancing, are you keeping active dancing in the house?
So funny thing is, my group of dancers, we normally dance on Wednesday night at the local Elks Club. I am actually going to teach a lesson to some of our dancers at 3:00 today. When I hang up with you guys, I'll be teaching them what a man got to do, something I learned at a line dancing weekend just recently this month.
I won't want to take us to get there.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
Kelly loves to line dance, and so
nice.
Usually you can put her up on the spot and she'll dance with you. She'll even dance solo sometimes, and then she'll get everybody else to dance with her. I love it.
I'm impressed. Very nice.
And
pretty much,
we've got a huge dance floor for you.
Yeah.
If you want to, you can come to the studio here and line dance.
Yeah, I'm sure the approach is just make it very easy to slide on through and do those steps. So yeah, have to take advantage of that.
I like that. Hillary just says, "Would you consider adding a few lanes alongside your dance floor?" There you go.
Oh God, that would be great. A little private seat, little private, section for those special events and everything would be fabulous too.
So this has to be tough for you. Not being able to go bowl, not being cooped up inside. How are you as far as your bowling and staying active? Dancing and eating is one thing, but bowling and staying active while you're at home, what's that look like for Kelly?
Yeah, Frank, it's very interesting. Parts of the country still aren't entirely shut down, so I know some of the ladies have been able to get out to the centers and practice or have a private facility near them. Mental and visualization really comes in hand right now. That's what you have to take place. So the few minutes a day of closing my eyes and seeing myself bowling, also looking at old videos, past wins, past victories, or times when I bowled really well physically, and kind of recollecting and flashing back to those times, so I kind of stay sharp. We've been taught many, many years with the Team USA program and junior kids as well, and Carol Norman, hearing her speak, that visualization is almost as powerful as doing the active bowling itself. So really having a quiet mindset, recollecting all the good times and what do I want to achieve when I do get out on the lanes.
That's great.
That's great, Kelly. I mean, that visualization goes back to cyber vision with Johnny Bagley and Marshall Holman.
Yes,
fellow Jersey boy.
Right. But original Brooklynite. Put that in.
I thought Johnny was originally Staten Island.
No, Brooklyn.
He's Brooklyn.
He made Brooklyn, then Staten Island, then Jersey. Like 80% of everybody did. So yeah.
But yeah, very powerful what the mind can do. So that's I'm trying to stay active that way. And I was planning on cutting back this year anyway. So when we do get the free range to go back out and practice, I'll head over to Jersey Lanes, John Fatigay, and Chuck owns that place, as well as Parkway Lanes and stuff, and get my practice time on the lanes when it turns around.
So you mentioned cutting back for any reason in particular?
The last few years, I did really enjoy it out there. The PWBA, we're so excited that it's back and it's thriving on every level, and the ladies have a platform to perform and really have success and be televised with CBS Sports Network. For me, it's just that the formats were very intense, and for a short period of time, I just didn't enjoy it as much as I used to. So I was going to scale back a bit and bowl mainly all the majors and part of the probably at least half of the other events itself. And when I talked about K2 Brew, I'm just trying to, almost like a midlife crisis, find myself what my next step is going to be. Where do I want to see myself going from here? Bowling does have a bright future ahead of it. I'm just not sure where my future is going to be as being a part of the culture. So just going to scale back a little bit and see what happens. You never know. If I get out there and have some victories along the way, I may bowl full time again and change my mindset. I don't have the motivation right now to get out there and bowl full time.
Well, I would hope that you would still remain as a commentator, because I don't know about anybody else, but I love listening to your insight, watching bowlers compete, and maybe give us a little peek inside what might be going on inside their minds. I personally love that.
Oh, I appreciate the compliment, and to all the people and fans out there, I've received a lot of positive feedback from my commentating alongside Dave Ryan, as well as some other fellow analysts along the way. So I do plan to stay active with that. I was originally scheduled to do the Collegiate Nationals next month, unfortunately got canceled. If our schedule, whenever it does pick up with Junior Gold, I am signed on to do those telecasts as well. I've always tried as a commentator and an analyst to highlight the ladies in front of the camera. Personal opinion, I was never a big fan of John McEnroe because he always seemed to talk about himself more than the people on the court. So whenever you're in front of the camera, I always want to highlight the women, what they do well. And with bowling, sometimes just trying to find that little minute thing is so difficult in a split second. But I always try to be honest and say, I really don't know what happened on that delivery. And I want to be able to relay it to the fans at home so they can understand it and they can apply it to their game and have success as well. It's just about growing the sport and having fun.
So one of our interviewers that's not here today wanted to ask the question. He, in particular, likes your reference to uphill and downhill.
Okay.
Commentating. So maybe you give us a little insight into that?
Yeah, so often enough, downhill, the ball is going to pick up speed. So it's making its directional change and most likely going towards the pocket. When the ball is really struggling, it's trying to climb itself uphill. So picture yourself on a bicycle pedaling at the lowest notch on your bicycle, pedaling uphill. It's really struggling. The ball is struggling to get back to the pocket. So when I use those phrases, the Jersey slang, uphill and downhill, uphill you're struggling, downhill it's clear way all the way to the path to the pocket.
I like that because it makes a visual picture of what you're describing. So and that's why I always like that too.
Yeah, that's very good.
Yeah, and one of the big things on TV, people misconfuse axis tilt and axis rotation, and the two are very simple. If you look at a tire, basically staring at a tire, your left rear tire, your driver's tire, and it just goes around and around. That's 90 degrees of axis rotation. Like Pete Weber, that they always use him as an example. Axis tilt, the best example I can give is picture a stunt car. All right, and both tires all of a sudden go up a ramp, and then the car is tilted on its side. It's on a very small tread of tire. So the smaller the tread, the higher the car is going to be, the lower the person's tilt is. But when the ball starts to lose speed, as the car goes closer to the ground and more tread is covering it, they have a higher tilt. So some good examples there and good visualizations you can use to kind of explain the difference between the two.
That's great. That's really good.
It's got to truly be hard. And I've been there when you haven't made the show, and it's frustrating because you'd rather be bowling, right? So rather than being behind the scenes, we do appreciate having someone like you back there because you're great at it. We would rather be watching you, but we know that's a struggle. How real is that struggle?
I'm an honest person, Frank. It sucks. It really does suck. Especially the last few events, I finished sixth and just outside the show 3 times in a row. So it puts a damper on my heart and my mind, and sometimes it starts to put in some doubt and some questioning. Maybe that's one of the reasons I'm kind of stepping back a little bit. I always want to win, but it just seems I've become a really good loser instead of a winner. So it does. But again, the fact that I can make some income and again highlight the women on the show and bring justice to their level and skills and just the arena itself and the setting that we're in, and hopefully see women's bowling grow and expand even more to where there's more sponsors. That's where I've kind of devoted myself, my time and energy to continuing to try to make it better. But damn it, do I want to be on the other side of the camera? Absolutely. It sucks every time I'm not.
I'm sorry. What do you think of when after that happens and now you're going in the booth? What's the happy place that you think of so that you could stay sharp as much as you can without worrying about being on the lanes, but putting that smile back on? What do you close your eyes? What's that happy place for Kelly?
The after party. No, honestly, I think because I've really enjoyed working with Dave Ryan. And when I get to be beside him, first he's always complimentary of my performance and he wants me to be in front of the camera too. But being able to work with him side by side and learning from him some more and then having that energy level, he excites me to be a good commentator and a good color analyst as well. So I really do enjoy working with him and getting to have that part of it. After, I would say it drives me to work harder, and I do work hard in the gym, not necessarily as much on the lanes as I probably should have. And again, my mindset has changed a lot in the last year. I have to say, personally, just the loss of my mother, she was my biggest connection and one that I could relate the bowling to a lot. And, I lost her and I kind of lost a little bit of love that went with her. So that's a big part of it. And then, like I said, the formats, they were scheduled to change this year and be a little bit kinder to the athletes. Instead of having 2 blocks of 8 games with 5 women on a pair and being in a bowling center 18 to 19 hours a day, they were kind of changing the pattern. So it'd be interesting to see what the formats are going to bring and maybe a little bit easier to the mind and the body. But it sucks.
Wow. Well, Kelly, on that note, we do like to hear your Jersey slang when you're on television. So even though you missed the cut, at least we get to hear the Jersey talk. It's all good.
Thank you. I can't talk too fast.
That's okay. Listen, you're in good company here because New York, Jersey, tri-state, we're all running around with our hair on fire talking, right? So.
Oh, absolutely.
So I have a couple questions for you, and I'm going to have to ask a couple of questions on behalf of my buddy Joe, who's the other half of the Joe and Joe team. Naz already covered one of them, but I think I got the rest. So the first question I have for you is a 2-part. Before you turned pro, what was it that you took from bowling in college, and what was it that you took from when you were a little bit younger bowling in, say, like state tournaments? What did you take from both to help you become a better pro and help you become the bowler that you are?
The biggest thing I learned in college is we all didn't have to get along to bowl well together. And if there were some interesting, we had teammates, when Morehead State had 3 women's team that traveled each weekend. So you had 15 to 18 to 20 women plus another 12 to 15 men because it was a club sport. So that was really a privilege to be able to bring everybody and compete week in, week out. But there were times where you didn't get along with each other off the lanes. So the communication skills of how you related to people in that team environment really prepared me that, hey, not everyone's going to like you, and that's okay. So that was my mind. That's what I took away from college. As a kid, the energy that I had, the energy I get from watching the youngsters bowl motivates me to practice. But I wanted to be the best no matter what. It doesn't matter, male, female, stroker, hook player, anything. I just wanted to be the best athlete that I possibly could have been. And that's why I had all that energy. And I played multiple sports. In my Hall of Fame speech, it was funny. It was a joke, but my mother would say, need a plumber, call Kelly. Need a rabbi for a brisk, call Kelly. Need a carpenter, call Kelly. I wanted to do it all, no matter what it was. I wanted to do it all. I have that mind that really wants to explore everything and try everything and do everything physically. I'm terrible on a computer. I can't figure how to move music files to my phone right now. That's my next project. But make me dig a 6-foot grave, manual labor. That's what I want to do. I like physical stuff. I like feeling strong. And that's what I got from bowling young, just to really try everything. Try everything once. You never know if you're going to like it or hate it.
Well, that's a great answer, Kelly. You know what? Yeah, see that I learned something else now too. I mean, you went really deep there from when you were younger, and how that helped you when you got a little bit older and went off and bowl college. And I like the fact that even though we all want to get along, sometimes you're going to have people that just chap you and kind of rub you the wrong way. You have to block that out and focus on you. So that's really that is a great answer. My next question I have is, because I'm a throwback kind of guy, being a Johnny fan from back in the day, back in the Brooklyn days. How do you think your game would have been? How would you have matched up? If you can go back in a time capsule, if you were back in the mid 70s to late 70s to early 80s with rubber bowling balls, and then when urethane first came out, bowling on wooden lanes, how do you think you would have fared back then bowling against guys like, I don't know, like Dick Ritker and Jim Stefanich and Larry Lobb and guys like that?
Oh, wow. What? That's never had that question posed to me.
Not on me.
Welcome to live from Ravs.
Yeah. That's awesome because, being East Coasters, we grew up on wood lanes. So that was built in my DNA. So we had free hook all the time. I mean, even going to the Hodge lanes, I think Gil Hodge's lanes over in Brooklyn over there and practicing. I mean, if you threw it to the 10-pin, you almost took off the 7-pin. So you guaranteed friction. My straight game was not as good as it is now. My hook game was stronger a lot back then. So obviously when we got to the second round, when they opened up more, I probably would have fared really well and moved up the step ladder. Watching those guys back then and what they did. I mean, Dick used to tell stories about lofting over the right gutter to get it to hook down the lane. And then when you're on the burn squad at nighttime, just trying to throw as hard as you can to the head pin. So yeah, different times. I don't know how I'd fare. Probably very similar to how I did on the men's tour. My pocket percentage was really good and high, but my carry percentage was not. So I got 9 a lot. That should have been my uniform number for softball. Should have been 9. I should have carried that all the way through. But I think I would have done fairly well, being younger, athletic, and I'm sure I would have turned a few heads back then.
Yeah, you probably would have. And I have one more question for you is, who do you think was the greatest athlete to ever come out of Morehead State? You or Phil Simms?
Man.
No pressure.
Well, actually, I'm in MSU Hall of Fame, but not for sports because bowling was a club sport. I'm in their alumni regular Hall of Fame. How the hell they found Phil Simms in good old Morehead, Kentucky beats the crap out of me. I really don't know. Clueless. The man is he soft-spoken. He seems like a Kentuckian, even though he isn't. But he got more notoriety than I did. But hey, the first woman to win a men's national event, that's pretty damn big. So I think I helped put Morehead on the map just as much as he did, maybe a little bit more.
I'm going to say yes, Kelly. You get it. I'm going to go 1 and 1A, and you get a little bit of the edge because I'm a Jets fan. So you get a little bit of. So. Yep.
All right. I can't even root for the Jets or the Giants, guys. I'm sorry. They represent New York, but they play in New Jersey. Come on.
Good answer.
You mentioned being a first, and you have so many bowling and non-bowling firsts to your credit. A Spider-Man comic book. You're a Spider-Man comic book star.
Yep.
And there she is, looking fierce. You were the first and probably, I think, only bowler to be featured on ESPN, the magazine's Bodies We Want issue. You were the only woman PBA major title holder and the first woman to win a professional bowler's title. That's a lot of firsts. You talked about pushing yourself not just to be the best female bowler, but to be the best. Do you think that was some of the things that helped you achieve some of these firsts?
Not so much the act. I mean, the Spider-Man comic book was really. I met Peter David's daughter at a pro-am, and I was nice, and I talked to her, and I helped her with her game, and he remembered that. And then obviously we were in New York, and I bowled the tour stop, and he introduced himself. I was 63rd in the field of 64, and the guy still came up to me and said, "Would you want to be in a comic book?" And I like, "You talking to me?" So can't say that. It's just. There is no bar for me. There is no finale. There's no stopping, because as I age, like a good bottle of wine, I'm just going to get better, and the accolades will still be there. It'll be a senior event next. It'll be, winning the team trials 2 years in a row and being the oldest to win that. I didn't even think about age as being a number. It's really about self-satisfaction. I always said, one of my quotes was, being satisfied, being great means never being satisfied. What is greatness? How can you measure it? Because it's measured at different decades to different athletes. I mean, Jason Belmonte is considered the best of athlete bowler right now in the world, and he should be. He's got more majors than anybody. Go back to the 70s, though, and Johnny Petraglia winning a title in every decade. I mean, how many people can actually say that? So there's always going to be different levels of greatness, but the magazine was great. I mean, Hugh Hefner, I always joked he was never going to call me, and it's still a body I was proud of. I'd like to have been in more better shape than what I was, but I was still proud and honored to be asked. And then some of the other firsts along the way, my mother always was proud of that. She's like, "You're the first. You're the first." Missy was the first one to join the PBA. I think she might have been the first one to win a regional. I won a regional and then the national title. But then Liz Johnson was the first one to make a national show. So without those other pioneering women before me to allow me to have those opportunities, I don't know if that would have been possible. So a lot of my firsts have to be credited to other women taking the risks and putting us out there.
Great answer. Great answer.
A woman of first. It really is incredible when you think about all of those feats. And so Naz just gave you your bio like you didn't know, but it really is incredible. So how about you mentioned it, the senior tour or the oldest to do something? How does that sit, Kel? Because
No, I just turned 43. 2 birthdays I'll remember. I'll remember my 40th. It wasn't the greatest 40th. And 43 because that's when everything shut down. March 16th was when New Jersey was going to shut down. So not a great day. But yeah, bowling, the longevity of the sport itself is what makes it so great and appealing to so many human beings. I think I look at Lenny Borsch and God, Johnny's still bowling. He's got some health issues, but he's still a presence through Brunswick and the senior tour, and the legacy that he has developed and built is just unheard of. Carmen Salvino was still bowling this year. Good, maybe not, but the fact that he's still upright and delivering a bowling ball against the best field in the world is fantastic. That presence has to be there. So Team USA, we have the senior events along the way, and I've watched those women from other countries get better, and that's what I enjoy going back to see, meeting these other women and competitors of the World Cup and other cultures and how they've developed their program. And the woman from Ethiopia was so gracious. She goes, "I learned to bowl by watching YouTube videos of me." And I was fascinated by that, how much I could have, and the development with the kids in Junior Team USA. So there is no end in sight. The only end in sight is when I'm 6 feet under, as far as I'm concerned. And bowling is in my DNA. It's in my blood. Even if I get away from it for a while or take a step to the side for it, it's still going to be a part of me. But I do. There's no ending in sight. And, I'll be one of those senior bowlers USBC is highlighting. 99-year-old Kelly Kulick averaging 165 in her Sunday Trios League is what I look here for one day.
There you go. That's also Golden Oldies here with us on Mondays.
Yeah, the Golden Girls. We'll be the Golden Girls.
Hey, Kel, I just want you to know you are always with us here at Rabs. You are hanging in the office as your comic book character. This hangs there as an awesome reminder of that. So I just know you're always here, and I know you'll be back soon.
Yeah, that's so cool.
We were just talking about. I started digging through stuff to go get the comic book, and I said we'll find it another time. It's in there somewhere.
Okay.
I can't get past it. She says the oldest to do something. I think that's crazy. So
There's more firsts in my future, I'm sure there is. So
You're right, girl.
Absolutely.
Keep it going.
Well, listen,
it's never ending.
look at Walter Ray is another great example who's out there pushing, man.
Yeah.
That's impressive.
I mean, here's a man in his 60s now. He just turned 60, and he's bowling two-handed, and he shot 300 bowling two-handed. I mean, talk about a person who keeps looking for the challenge through every hallway he walks down. I mean, this guy never gets tired of bowling, which is amazing to me. Like, I think people have a breaking point. Walter is not one of those people. He can take a break, but I think he has to stay very active. I think his mind needs to stay busy. And, I mean, he's still dominating on the senior tour at 60 years old. So kudos to him.
He's very driven.
Absolutely.
He's very driven.
So you want to get some questions?
Yeah, I was gonna. I think it's this one. Here we go. We had a couple questions from our folks that are watching. So
Sure.
Nathan's got a question. Kelly? What's your go-to bowl for tournament play? And this is an open question because you have new equipment all the time. Every time you go out and bowl. But is there a go-
Let me tell you, the ball that's always in my bag is a solid phase 2. I can't go anywhere internationally, domestically without at least one of those bowling balls in my bag. So that's for sure. There used to be the IQ Tour, but now phase 2 every single time I travel out the door with my bowling bags.
I can't say anything. I like it.
Yeah,
I had a couple of games. The first 800 in quite some time, so that's not getting retired anytime soon. And that's just from me. So to hear that from you, that's pretty cool.
Yep.
And it smells awesome.
Yeah, the first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there's a question from Chris. Tips about staying fit during the quarantine. So a little bit of a theme here. We've been talking the last few days. How do we keep ourselves moving and active and ready to go? So we talked about dancing, but and that's great exercise. But when it comes to being fit for bowling, is there something that you're doing on a regular basis that you can, or even suggest for doing at home?
Yeah, when the weather's great, go out for a walk. You don't have to jog. You don't have to run. You can just go for a walk. So this morning, I already walked to the post office and back. It was 2.6 miles round trip. So that was great. I'll give you a little, my house is kind of a mess, but on the floor here, I've got my elastic bands. I don't know if you can see those.
Yeah.
But I've got my resistant bands, so I put them on the door, and I'm doing some workouts that way. You don't need any weights. You can just use your body weight to do squats, lunges, flexibility, stretching, all that great stuff. Best body exercises are planks, push-ups, jumping jacks. If you can do squats and lunges for sure. And if you can do any type of chest press or anything, but that you get benefit from the push-up. So everywhere you look now, there's Facebook challenges going on, do 100, do 200, the 30-second workout. We've been fortunate that one of our instructors at the YMCA that I sub for occasionally, he's been posting these little 2.5 to 5 minute videos on WhatsApp and doing rounds of three rounds of each. So I've been staying fit that way. There really is no excuse. You can't say, hey, I didn't have time, because I think we all have a little bit extra time than we prepared for. So just movement, mobility, get out and walk, get out and work in your yard when it's nice, climb the stairs, walk to the post office, go to the farmer's market instead of driving there, less contact with your car and touching things. So, be mobile and do that. And then basic knowledge. Everybody knows back from elementary school what those basic exercises are. You don't need weights. You just need your body weight, and you need some creativity in your mind.
We've been talking about that too. Walk around the block. Don't go to the park.
Yeah.
Don't go to the park.
Right.
Yeah.
Walk around the block. Keep your
Yeah.
distance.
Yep.
That's the best thing to do for
we
sure.
do that,
Yeah, exactly.
So Flo has a question here, and so we were talking about food earlier. So when you're out bowling, it can't be an easy thing to eat and diet or watch what you're eating. So I guess Flo is a fan of the farm to table diet. So do you have any tips to eating healthy while on the go or while you're on tour?
The biggest thing, if you can food prep your own type of food at home and bring it with you, that's the best idea. I have a lot of supplement protein powders I love to take and mix into my oatmeal, so I get a little more extra benefit there. Bananas and peanut butter, easy snack to eat while you're bowling. Nuts are very good. Granola. Grapes are great, some fruit with a low glycemic level, things that are handheld. Protein bars are great, but you still need carbohydrates while you're active. And our blocks can go for 4.5 hours, so you have to have some type of energy level. Cliff bars and Gatorade makes these little energy chews, something to have along the way. But anything that has a skin on it so it's easy to eat or you can pre-slice and bring along with you. I just bought recently some of those little cereals, I can throw into my suitcase. So if I need something at nighttime when I go back, a little bit of almond milk or stop at the gas station and pick up some milk or protein drink to add in along the way. Creativity again comes to mind. Green beans are great raw, kind of scary, but here you have a vegetable. If you just clean them up and keep them in a little ice box or a little carrier that you use for the kids going to school in the lunch boxes, there's a green vegetable and it's something good for you. Carrots as well. So any type of food that you like that's accessible, again, has a skin and is easy, again, you have to get creative, but half a peanut butter sandwich. I love half a peanut butter sandwich. I bought my pantry. I didn't panic, but I've got Kind bars. I've got protein bars. I've got Nutri-Grain, Nutri-Valley bars. Jerky. It's a little high in sodium, but it's a great source of protein along the way. So you just have to find the balance of carbohydrates while you're staying active. And then again, pre-planning is the best option.
Nice.
Yeah, and that's great. Great tips for our kids going out to Junior Golds. And you've been there, you've seen it, you've done the telecast, and talking about that because that's coming this summer. Hopefully, it's still on. We don't know more until then, but
Yeah.
Talk about that experience. What is it watching these kids? And we've talked about this, and I want you to share that. And Kelly's perspective of that whole event, and then doing those TV shows from we've got the USA Bowling to Junior Golds. Share your what do you think of this?
It's the biggest event within bowling itself that I've been a part of, and that's even bigger than BPAA Bowl Expo and the USBC convention, and the energy level of kids from the ages of as young as 8 or 9 years old, all the way up to before Safe Sport 21, just that age ending gap right there, or 20. It's amazing to see the energy level, the emotional level going from, winning and being high on having a great block to being there for the first time and finishing 754th in a field of 1,200 and not understanding what that concept means. But for me, because I've been a part of the TV cast for so many years now, is watching the youngsters come back and again improve. Multiple winners, back-to-back winners in the U15 and U12 event, now on Junior Team USA, and her name is escaping my mind right now. But to watch each bowler progress yearly is just fantastic. People realize when I made Team USA, the first year I made Team USA, I finished second to last the first time I went to nationals. The year after that, I set a goal to make the top 32 and I finished, or top 24, and I finished, I think, 36 or 38th. Finally, the third year, I qualified second and I made the team. So the goal setting has to be there and established. And to be put on perspective, it's that whole meaning of being a shark in a pond and then all of a sudden going into the big ocean and being a guppy amongst sharks. You get to see all the talent across the nation and realize what you're competing against and who you're going to be bowling against in college. But the best part about it is through the SYC events and Junior Gold events, you have kids all over this wonderful country, this nation, that are friends and have kept in touch through Facebook and WhatsApp and all these social media venues, that they're now great friends and they're going to college together. They're establishing the friendship at a young age. And these are going to be lifelong buddies and pals as they grow older. So really it's the takeaway of what they have and what they gained from meeting all these wonderful bowlers.
Yeah, great. Think about that, how that's changed from the time that you started and where we are today.
Wow.
The Storm Youth Championships have grown into something else, and I love to hear the kids come back and tell the stories about who they saw, the traveling across the country to go compete. It's awesome, and they're very lucky to have parents that one can afford and bring them and do it and give them as many opportunities. But there are so many of those for them out there. You touched a little bit on Team USA. What is your proudest Team USA moment? Because I know you wear that jersey really proud. What was that? What was that moment for you that said, "Wow, this is awesome"?
It's so hard to pinpoint just one. It really is. Yeah, the first time I ever made Team USA, I got to go to Abu Dhabi and I won the singles. And no, United States hadn't won singles in I don't know how many years, how many decades it had been. And to stand on that podium and hear the national anthem, thinking that's the closest I was ever going to be to the Olympics, was really momentous for me. My first time ever on the team and competing in the World Championships. That's one highlighted moment. It's hard to narrow down just one. Danielle and I won the doubles event when we were in Abu Dhabi again, and we took gold over Korea. It was a proud moment. But the goal is always to come back with the team event. And the fact that we won back in Abu Dhabi in I think 15 or 17 was the last year, 17, was really pretty neat. So there's too many to choose from. The World Cup is something I wanted to compete in. But I asked Rod Ross, I said, Rod, we win the medals and we do the work, but what's your takeaway from it? And he said, hearing that national anthem, on the podium, being the top three and you're number one, and listening to your country's national anthem really puts it in perspective of just how a small amount of you can make a huge difference and how it relates to other people within our sport itself.
You hear that from so many different athletes, and that is a common theme, which is awesome. I can't what that feeling is, somebody coming up to you with a gift, and then of course that medal with the national anthem. That's cool stuff. So in your travels, your favorite place to travel and eat? I mean, because that's got to go together.
Yeah,
for sure.
Absolutely.
Oh, wow. I love Australia, but my favorite place to eat is Germany. I love German food, and then of course the beer. They had the Dream Palace, the Brunswick Euro Challenge, and it was beer, bowling, or beer, food, and bowling, not necessarily in that order or close to that order. How do you go wrong with Belgian beer? And then all the great, schnitzels and pastas and bratwurst and everything. I do enjoy eating in Germany. Australia is a close second. It's so diverse. It's got every type of culture that's there, and the fact that everyone speaks English. But it's, again, how do you narrow it down? I go to Australia at least once a year, or I was going for about the past 6 or 7 years, coaching the youth over there. When I'm competing in Germany, it's great too. So I definitely eat with my eyes and my nose, not with my brain.
It sounds like that might have been the inspiration for K2 Brew.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah. Oh, love the wheat beer over there. Love the German wheat beer and the Marzen beers. Oh, so good.
Nice. You know what? The closest I ever got was going to Epcot and going to Germany there. Or something. I've never been, but I'll call that my Germany, going to Epcot.
There you go.
Too bad there's not a bowling lane in
we can work on that. Maybe I can talk to some people. Maybe we can pull that off. We'll have to see.
That's cool. You guys have anything?
I do have a couple of off the cuff, Kelly, for our friends of our Monday Night Bowling show. I'm going to ask.
Sure.
I'm going to ask Kelly, the PBA member, the PBA Hall of Famer, some rapid fire questions like we ask on Monday night.
Soon to be future Hall of Famer.
Soon to be. Well, in my heart, you're already a Hall of Famer. So how about that? But
okay.
On a warm summer's night, it's an August day, 95 degrees, the humidity's 110. What's your go-to Italian ice at night when you want to cool off? Favorite Italian ice?
Oh, lemon.
Oh, there you go. Tradition.
Lemon.
Okay.
She's not a Brooklyn girl.
And she's not a Brooklyn girl.
That's easy.
It's a good answer. Dogs or cats?
Dogs.
Dog. Nice. I like it. And the final question, what was your first car?
It was a Pontiac Sunbird.
Well,
Two-door
nice.
Pontiac Sunbird.
I like it.
What color?
Yep. Red. Red.
Of course, red.
It helps when Dad's in the business. We got whatever was handed to us. My sister got a little Jetta. My second sister, she got a Buick Century. I got the Pontiac Sunbird. So not bad.
Right.
4 cylinders. Made its way back and forth to Kentucky for at least 1 year.
Nice.
For at least a year.
Yeah. Those hills in West Virginia, let me tell you, all cylinders were firing when I was climbing some of those hills when it was fully loaded.
That's a good answer, Kelly. Thank you.
One of the other questions we're asking everybody that comes on. What are you watching right now? So there's so much time for TV, whether it be movies, TV shows, Netflix, Hulu, Prime. What are you catching up on?
I have yet to binge watch anything. My shows that I watch faithfully are The Rookie, New Amsterdam, The Good Doctor, and A Million Little Things. So those are the shows I really try to stay on top of. Hulu right now has FX and some really great original shows. So I'm going to start cluing into my Hulu application and try to catch up on some new shows there. The new one with Reese Witherspoon looks pretty good, and yeah. Yeah, so I'm not really sure. There's always something on. I basically been putting my TV on and turning to country music. I've got Alexa in the kitchen. She didn't hear me. That's good. And so I'll just tune into some music while I'm roaming around. I did paint my office. That was one of the projects I've tackled. I'm going to do a little touch-up work in the kitchen. So I've been doing some painting projects around the house, and I'm taking piles of crap and making them smaller and moving the crap to another spot in the house where I can have more crap.
Well, we've also been saying nobody has any excuse not to have anything done.
Right.
When we come out of this, say, "Oh, I've got a pile. I've got this." Yeah. Nobody has any excuse to say, "Right, this is the best time to do it." Yeah. If you're going to catch up on an old FX show, one of my favorite original FX is Nip Tuck.
Oh yeah, great.
Oh, okay. That's a good one. I'll have to check that one out.
Original FX. Oh, yeah. I mean, it's a little gory, a little, but it's good. Plastic surgeons.
Yep.
Sounds good.
All right, Kel. Well, thank you so much for popping in and joining us today. We really appreciate taking the time. We know this isn't easy for all of us, and we are trying to give everybody an escape out of their everyday life to join us for an hour here on Facebook. And you and your smile certainly helped brighten everybody's day. So thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thank you, Kelly.
Yeah, thanks guys so much. And if this goes the way I think it's going to go, if you have any more odd questions you want to ask in the future, just give me a shout. I'll be happy to come back on.
Oh, we would love that.
We got it. All right. You heard it here, folks. Ratings fans and Kelly Kulick will come back and answer any of your oddball questions or anything you want to know. Hey, Kelly, before Naz wants to know, you want to dance us out?
Oh, really? I don't know if I can see. You guys can't see. I got to clear my floor for my lesson at 3:00. Next time when you tune in, I'll have the floor cleared and I'll show you what I taught to my group next time we get on. How's that sound?
We'll do a dance lesson with Kelly.
Yep. I'll put my John Polka shoes on. I'm ready to go.
Sounds good. Perfect.
Thank you again. Go to your dance class. Go have fun, and we'll keep up. Stay healthy. Wash your hands. Don't touch your face.
Yes. Right.
All right, guys. Thanks so much. Have a good day.
Thanks, Kelly.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Very good.
She's awesome. That Kelly.
She's a Jersey girl. What do you expect? Right. Very good.
Yeah, she was a great guest.
Yeah.
Like, really. Yeah. I loved her insight. I loved her honesty. You could tell she's an intense competitor.
Definitely.
And I just loved everything she had to say.
Yeah, she was good.
Yeah, she's definitely on the lane. She's fierce. Yeah, she's certainly fierce. I look at this comic. Look how fierce she is. they captured her so well.
And look at the guy in the background. He's like, uh-oh. I messed up against the wrong person here.
Well, we're going to continue this every day as long as we can until further notice. We've been joking around.
Yeah. UFN.
Oh, yeah, that's right. UFN. We've been learning the new lingo. We were talking about that via text. Was it WFH?
Work from home.
Work from home.
Right, something I never saw before until all this. Yeah. Tomorrow, as you know, we are here, not at 2:00, special time tomorrow night.
Special time.
7 p.m. with the one and only, as Kelly said, top bowler in the world.
Top bowler in the world tomorrow.
And he's going to join us with two hands.
Yes, he is.
The one and only Jason Belmonte. That's going to be awesome. So
yeah, it's going to be great. Yep.
In show business, it's prime time.
It is. Prime time actually starts at 8 o'clock. Although, I will tell you this. Prime time on the weekends does technically start at 7. So we're in the 7 o'clock time slot on Sunday. So that's a good point, Frank. Prime time on the weekend, 7 p.m.
And Kevin Rourke wants you to know that he's in the over 50 pot this week. So if you collect him, he'll start collecting.
Kevin, you're not in the over 50 pot yet. Save your $10. We'll get you one of these years. You'll get there eventually.
So yesterday we told you we had 2 memes of the day, and we never got to the second meme. We were just so excited to bring Pam in and start talking. So the meme today we have 2 memes of the day, and here's the first one. This stays within the theme.
It's hit by the bear.
There you go.
Before the 7-10 split, Naz.
His mind's always in the gutter. Oh, spare me.
That's a good one.
That was a good one.
Very original.
I like that.
Yep.
I like
That's a good one.
Yep.
That follows on the first one that we shared at
Yes.
the beginning of the week.
Definitely.
So you also heard it here first. You ready? A little while ago, before we started, Naz and I did an interview for Fox 5 News.
Yep.
So Fox 5 News is highlighting some of the stuff that's going on in our community, and they reached out. So tune in to Fox 5 News tonight, the 6 o'clock show. Naz and I are going to be on the show from the studio.
Yep.
From the studio
That's
here
great.
at Rab's Country Lane. So be sure to tune into Fox and check that out. They're telling stories of people being home to make businesses.
Yep.
It's a little Staten Island feature from my understanding.
Yeah, and I'm glad you did that, Frank, because I can't give the competitive networks a plug.
We did have to ask Joe.
Yeah, being I work for one of the
to.
networks, that's the competition, so I had to go mute button on that one. I can't talk about the other networks. Sorry.
So we had two parents ask. Sarah and Kathy brought up had two really good questions, and of course it's back to youth bowling, and they were asking about the Junior Gold Championships and the state championships. We are still until further notice with information. As Chad talked a little bit the other day, Chad Murphy was on the show from USBC. They're not making a decision on Junior Gold until June 1st. And the team there at the bowling campus youth department is looking at all opportunities and ways to make the event go. It's an unknown. We don't know where we're going to be next week in a couple of weeks. So please be patient. They are taking everything into consideration. Sarah makes a good point, and Kelly talked a little bit about before, the age change. Some of the kids, this would be their last Junior Gold Championship.
They're aging out.
Yeah.
They're thinking about that. That's something that's on their minds. We can't let that drive decisions.
Right.
At the end of the day, it's up to the
Safety.
governor
Yeah.
and people's health. So stay tuned. And as far as the state championships go, I do know there's conversation about postponing to another date, whether we don't have them at all. They're having all of the conversations. So we're in a holding pattern.
Yeah.
We really don't know. So stay tuned. As soon as we know and those groups get together, which they are, they're talking on a regular basis. But when they make an announcement, we'll be sure to share that and let you know what's happening from New York State youth side to Junior Gold, whatever it might be. As soon as we have it, we'll share it.
I do know that they have extended the deadline for qualifiers for local qualifiers to June 15th, I believe. So I know there was some concern about bowlers who are missing opportunities now to qualify, but now with the deadline extended at least a month, hopefully there'll be some additional opportunities. So, and hopefully, we're looking forward to still having Junior Gold, but we're in a time where we kind of have to think outside of ourselves and the things that we might be disappointed about and think of the health and well-being of the country and all of us.
I mean, look, they not canceled, but they postponed the Masters. We were talking about the Masters, how it was going to be Easter Sunday, and I had my bottle of wine all picked out. I was going to drink while I was watching the golf, and now it's postponed. I mean, they even postponed the Indy 500. They pushed it back to August, first time ever in history.
Joe, you can still drink the bottle.
Oh, I intend to. I intend to drink the bottle. I hope they at least show last year's Masters when Tiger won, so it'll be something to watch again. I mean, that's better than nothing.
That was awesome.
That was awesome.
That was something to watch.
Yep.
So I was going back to what Naz was talking about. On Junior Golds, we have two qualifiers that were on the schedule, one for this past weekend, one coming up. So knowing the June 15th deadline at this point, we will plan to host both of those events for qualifying opportunities. Again, when we know more, you'll be the first to know live.
Yes, this is the fountain of information.
Live from Rabs. Hey, you want to talk about our lineup the rest of the week? Yes.
We've got some stuff going on. Obviously, Frankie mentioned earlier that tomorrow we will have the top bowler in the world, Jason Belmonte, joining us tomorrow night at 7:00.
And Joe will be back.
And Joe will be back.
And Joe Bruno.
And Joe Bruno will be here too. So we'll have a full team. Yeah. We're gonna have to figure out our table set up here, and but we'll take care of that. We gotta have all day tomorrow.
Yeah.
On Monday, Bill Salvatore will be joining us. And do we have a second?
It's gonna be a super local bowlers Monday.
Yes.
We're gonna bring in some of our fans from here from Rabs, and Billy's one of them.
Yeah.
And we're gonna surprise you with whoever else on Monday.
There may be a good-looking sighting along the way too, Mr. G, and I don't mean the weatherman, but Mr. G might be popping in.
I like it. Tuesday we've got our friend Dennis Sermonek. He's going to talk a little bit about what's going on in the stock market and what's happening out there. So he's got some great insight. He's been sharing along himself. And the rest of the week, we got two other great guests that were lined up.
On Wednesday, we have PWBA champion Stephanie Johnson,
Nice.
another pro bowler, and I'm sure that'll be another show, another popular show. So please be sure to tune in and get your questions ready for Stephanie. We're thrilled to have her.
And then our friend Frank DeSocio from the Bowling Proprietors Association, the executive director, is going to come and talk a little bit about what's going on in the industry and the world around us here in the bowling centers. There's a lot. We have a lot of bowling centers throughout the country that are closed, doing things like this, keeping their food business open. And BPA is there helping us as our trade association. So he's going to come talk about the landscape of the bowling centers and what's happening out there.
Socio, he's a paisan. I like
He's
it. Good.
paisan from New York City.
He's from this area. There you go.
Oh yeah, when you hear him, you're going to know.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Oh, no. Good.
And on Friday, we have Wagner college coach. His name
Joe
is
Ambrose.
Joe Ambrose. He will be joining us and talking about the new program that they're setting up. And we will have a college bowling program on Staten Island at Wagner College.
Very nice.
And Janine Murphy from Newdorp High School will also be joining us. And we're excited. And you will feel some energy on that Friday show, I can guarantee you. Janine you will pretty much feel her through your television screens. And she's great. She's going to be a great source. She'll talk to parents maybe a little bit, touch on maybe how to help you cope and how to help some of the students cope with being home for an extended period of time. And that takes us to Saturday.
Oof.
Very nice.
We got a busy week, guys. And so
We got a
again,
busy week.
we are here daily until further notice.
UFN.
I like that. And so please continue to join us 2:00 every day, except for tomorrow. Tomorrow on at a special time, 7 p.m. Eastern with Jason Belmonte. We're excited. Joe, we said, will be back. And keep thinking about us. We keep thinking about you. We miss seeing your faces.
Yeah.
We're giving you so many reasons not to miss ours as we're on your phones or on your computer screens every day.
Every day.
However you're watching. So
That's right.
thank you for tuning in. Tonight, 6:00 news, Fox 5. Go check it out where Naz and I gave a little interview before. So thanks for joining us. Like, share. If you're watching this on YouTube, subscribe.
Other meme.
Oh, see, thank you. That's
See?
why this
That's why
production.
Liz
That's
is
why
down.
Liz, our producer,
That's why
is
Liz-
invaluable.
And it's the big
I
bucks.
had it
That's
here
why
as our
she's
closer. So
Right, she makes the big bucks. Correct.
if you're watching on YouTube, subscribe wherever the button is, but subscribe and like and share us. And we're going to leave you with this meme of the day.
It's Joe right now. I like it.
Yeah, Joe, read it.
You hear me, bro. Bowling will be back. Hashtag bowling strong.
Love it. You're gonna see a lot of those memes. Hashtag
Yeah.
bowling strong, and it's keeping that message that all of our bowling centers are going to be back as stronger than ever. So
Definitely.
thanks for tuning in. Thanks again, Kelly. Kelly said she'll be back. So
Yeah, we're gonna hold
We're
it to
having
it.
her back.
Yeah, we're gonna
definitely.
hold it to that. Definitely.
we will. And until tomorrow, 7:00. We'll see you then.
Bye-bye.
Good night, all. Ciao.